Nick Cannon ain't here yet, but he's coming. If I say it, he's doing it. If Joe Crack, the Joker show, the biggest show in the game, tell you Nick Cannon showing up, Nick Cannon showing up. There's no false claims either, falsified or shit that's supposed to happen. Nah, it happens. You name them and we got them on here. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the big show has yours truly, Nick Cannon. Yo, Nick, I can't see your face, man. You look too cool back there. Like, we need some light on your face. You can't.
Y'all need to turn these lights on.
I'm
in the
that's Nick Cannon, man.
I got you. Hold on, let me turn the lights on.
They don't believe it's Nick Cannon, man.
Hilarious.
Damn, Nick.
OG, what's good?
Woo!
What's poppin', my brother?
Yo, Nick, let me explain something to you, man. So for the people who don't know, you've been my brother for close to almost 20 years.
Facts.
And and still to this day, because we shot that first video with me, you Buster, on a private plane.
On the private plane.
And that's still the nicest plane I ever been on in my life.
Yo, that joint was crazy. The crazy shit too, that shit was haunted. Like we had to sleep on that plane. It was the biggest. It was like
the biggest
two jumbo jets
plane I ever seen, right?
Yeah, no, it was definitely two jumbo jets. It had like 3 bedrooms on that joint. It had man, it was so crazy. It was once like some casino owners, and they said he used to haunt the plane. They said he had passed away, and I remember
thank God
the
I
crazy.
wasn't flying at that time.
No, real talk. Right after we shot the video, right, but to put him on the floor, we had, because we was landing, shooting the video and stuff. On the way back, I was shooting a movie, so I had to take a smaller private plane back to Canada, and all the crew, the video girls, all of that, they were still on the plane, and when they flew back to LA, the landing gear wouldn't come out. And that joint had to circle, and I was like, something told me not to take that plane back. Like it was crazy. They was like saying all type of weird, creepy stuff was happening on that joint. But like you said, it's still the nicest private plane I ever been on.
It was the nicest plane I ever seen. But then with me, right today, I'm watching Styles P and his lovely wife. They went on vacation. They took one of them planes that land in the water.
Oh, and yeah, I've been on a couple of them.
I ain't getting on no shit like that. And then the man,
they got those in the Bahamas.
This shit on Instagram, they tried to land 3 times. They couldn't because they kept saying the water's rocky. Like, I'm like, yo, B, I can't get used to that.
Ever. That's silly.
Yo, Nick, let me ask you a question I've always wanted to ask you.
Right.
Is that part of like your wardrobe, the turban? Is that like religious? Like what is it?
Yeah, it's more a spiritual thing more than anything. It's like I started doing a lot of studying. Like a lot of people don't even know that, like, I'm getting my PhD in theology and like really going through and I started studying the Sikh faith as well as the Moorish science. And it was just really talking about how it's about sovereignty. It's like, well, we self-govern, you know what I mean? So even like a lot of the stuff I stand for, I don't really be pushing it in people's faces, but it's really like representing like this our crown. Like we true kings out here. So it just started to be like, yo, I ain't, a lot of people thought it was like a wardrobe get down, but I was like, that ain't really why I do it. It's more of a spiritual connection and a discipline more than anything. But I gotta make sure that it's fly, so the shit always be matching and shit like that, and putting diamonds in it and shit.
Hey yo, let me tell you something, yo, Nick. So when I study the game, and I got the Big Joe, the big show, and I'm thinking about, and I told you I need advice from you. And when I think of somebody who's been doing it for so long, so you done had executive produce, you got your own shows. You host the shows and the big shits and the Wildin' Out play like yo, Nick, crazy. You gotta be really, really well off, huh, Nick?
I'm doing pretty good.
No, no, but
I'm
what's
one of the,
pretty good? Like you up there, Nick.
you know, it's crazy. Like, and it's funny because I see all of the Forbes lists and stuff like that, and I almost feel like because cats really don't know what to classify me as, because they don't know if I'm like a a producer, a filmmaker, a rapper, an actor, a comedian. So I've never been on a Forbes list, but I'm super fine with that because I'm good on cats not knowing how much money I make.
So have you ever been approached by the Forbes list, or they just people approach them to get on the Forbes list?
Yeah, you know how that is. There's people's publicists being involved and all of that. You know how the game go. A lot of that it ain't even that's more for the bells and whistles and the pageantry to kind of show people that I never wanted people to appreciate me for the amount of money that I had, and that's, you know, even real on some real stuff. Like, I'd rather people appreciate me for, you know, my education, or appreciate me for what I do for the community. So I even the times where I have had coach me, and because I think they ask you like, how much did you make, or how much did this tour make, and all of that stuff just seemed real invasive. So I was just like, man, I don't really need that. I don't really care.
Yeah, I get it because so much of this world is based on materialism. You know, I like finding shit in life, but
Yeah,
it seems like they love you when you got some shit, and it ain't for your true worth, or your true self-worth. And I was talking about truth last week, because now everybody's on social media. No disrespect. I mean, you know, I believe in faking it till you make it, but some people take that shit that shit too far, to where they doing everything for Instagram, they doing everything for social media, they
right.
doing, and not yourself, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Nah, you make a great point. I mean, man, you a legend and move in that way, because, you know, we all been through the stages where we had, you know, the biggest diamond chains and the cars, and we like nice stuff. We still have those things, but and all the fancy watches, I got them all. You know, I got the world's most expensive pair of shoes ever. I got $2 million shoes, but I never like to throw that type of stuff. Once you evolve to a certain place, yeah, I stopped Instagramming like material things. You know what I mean? I really like, I'm not trying to show off on my people. If anything, like I said, I'd rather show off what books I'm reading. I'd rather show off, you know, how they can act, you know, the process and the blueprint to get, you know, the material items that we've always sought after. So I mean, it just ain't never really, like, as much as I'm into
Nick,
fashion and getting fly.
something people don't know about you that I know. You can stop me a minute, just say stop, right? if I'm going too far.
Go as far as you need to go. OG.
Nah, yo, Nick, you grew up with some rough guys, right?
Oh yeah.
And you got the color on. Hey,
Nah, you know, it's interesting, man. Growing up on the West, and even shooting in my area when we came up, they didn't just wear red. They also, you know, they wore green too. I grew up in Southeast San Diego, and then obviously too in LA, and moved around.
No, Nick, hold up, Nick. I mean, they love you. Like you're the poster child. Everybody thinks Nick Cannons is all jokes and fun and games, but you grew up with a wild bunch of the most realest guys in the universe, and they love Nick Cannon.
Yeah, now to make it out of the projects that I made it out of, I mean, we all come from it. So it was an example of, yo, you don't have to get caught up in it, and you know, dodging drive-bys on the way to school, losing homies, like all that stuff. Even once I got in high school, I just wanted to leave that life alone. So when I saw them opportunities of like getting on stage and telling jokes and being a kid on Nickelodeon, I had already lived the life, you know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, I square up immediately. I saw that as a blessing from God, to where it's like, yo, I could leave the streets alone. I could, you know, be able to pay my mom's rent and take care of my family, and all I got to do is be silly and tell jokes.
Right now, some of the most respected guys I know.
Yeah.
Love Nick Cannon, and they say, yo, he from the cloth, he from the family.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, and it's a way of life, man. We come from it. When you got guys that that consider you family, and you know, we know what these organizations were originated from, because it was about protecting our communities. And I was one of those kids that, you know, people wanted to protect. So the OGs in my neighborhood, you know, they knew I was affiliated and certified, so I didn't have to prove it to nobody. So even when I got in the game, I was never talking that rah-rahness. I was trying to be the most clean cut, you know, squared in a box of Apple Jacks cat I could be. So like when people would call me corny and all that, I loved it. I was like, absolutely. That's gonna keep the police off me. I'll be
and
that
you know
guy.
what happened, yo, Nick? What happened to me was, and we could talk about it. You get into this little rap beef with Eminem, right?
Yeah,
No,
again.
yo, Nick, you get into he dissed you on my song, but you know they broke it down to me that y'all had been dissing each other forever. I didn't even know, and
Right.
So some people who love Eminem hit me up and say, yo, Joe, and I'm like, Nick Cannon, and that's my man, and they cool. And then when I made a
You
couple
had
of
no
phone
idea.
calls, when I made a couple of phone calls, and the homies was like, no, Nick Cannon's certified, he with us. I'm like, what? I said, for real? And I'm like, and what is the beef with Eminem, Nick? What is the beef? I mean, you in the big show. Let's keep it real, man. What's the beef?
We on the
with
big
Nick
show.
Cannon and Eminem?
I'm talking to Joe, bro. I gotta go in. I gotta give you the exclusive.
Show, bro. This is a Joker moment.
Nah, real facts. This is my thing. I'm gonna be honest with you, and you know, I say this on my radio show, you know, Power 106 all the time. Like, man, I've always been an Eminem fan. You know, the artist is somebody that I feel like is super skilled. You know, he's good for the culture, been good for the culture, been good to the culture. But I think as a man, where he and I went left, I don't really know what he and my ex-wife had going on. I think she got a new book coming out, and she talking about it in there.
No way. Yo,
yeah,
Mariah
so
got a book talking about
it? Yeah, Mariah got she doing an exclusive, you know, memoir talking.
Don't do that. That's a Joker moment. Hey, yo,
yeah, so but that was
none
of my business. You know what I mean? I don't. You know how we do. We don't never hate on. So
side of the story.
Yeah, so but like I said, that was before me. We got married in 2008, and you know, up until then, I had been nothing but a Mariah and fan. I was just excited to be with Mariah Carey, like, and I wasn't even aware that they had interaction. I don't know if they dated or how things go in this industry, but she was telling me like, dude was just super disrespectful, and I was like, all right, well, you know, as a husband, like, you know, if I got to protect my wife at any cost, it's on, you know. And then, but we didn't even really think nothing of it. And then all of a sudden, dude came out with a crazy record, like just blatantly just disrespecting, like using terms like that, you know, we don't stand for as men, like talking about my wife, and then called my name. So I was like, you know, at the time, you know, I'm managed by, you know, Chris Lighty, you know what I'm saying? You know, one of our brothers, God rest his soul. And, you know, he got the connection with, you know, cause he was managing Fifth at the time. And, you know, I think him and M's manager was super cool, Paul. So he was like, yo, Nick want to holler at your guy. Cause this is, you know, I'll get all the jokes and the rah-rah. I'm Mr. Wildin' Out. We can make jokes all day long, but when you go to a certain point where, one, you start lying, and then two, you start blatant, like calling my wife out her name, all kind of whores and cunts and all of this craziness, you got to see me. We got to talk about this man to man. And I was really just looking, especially then, we wasn't even about no music. I wasn't trying to rap or nothing. Like I want